My name is Shelby, and this is my mom, Wendy. And today we cooked a whole Southern meal filled up with foods from my childhood. My mom really taught me how to cook some of the foods that were staple growing up. And I felt like I went back to my roots and kind of learned. And I had things passed down that felt like, I don't know, like a ritual. Like I finally have gotten to the age where I can understand it and I can cook these foods myself. So,
Yep, you did a good job too.
I did my best. So thank you for coming and cooking with me today. I was really excited when you made this cookbook for me because I wanted all these recipes that I grew up eating, but I had no idea how they were made or what the ingredients were. I just knew that I ate them and I liked them, and that was that. But I'm glad that you came over and you cooked some of them with me because you like to do this little thing where you don't give me the measurements and you don't tell me how long I'm supposed to cook stuff for, and it's all a guesstimation, apparently. One of the things in the book was hoe cake bread and tomato gravy, which is the first thing we made today, so I don't know, like, where did that come from?
It came from my granny, your great granny.
Mm-hmm.
She could make anything out of nothing, and I guess she had to learn that when she went through the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things she used to make was tomato gravy and hoe cake bread. She said another word for hoe cake bread would be poor man's bread.
Yeah.
Because if she didn't have milk or buttermilk, she could use water.
Mm-hmm.
She could always make it, and it was always there. And she would have me go back to her deep freeze. She'd say, "Should go get me a bag of them tomatoes. I'm gonna make some tomato gravy."
And
then she would be in the kitchen cooking this stuff, frying her bacon or her salt pork. She'd be in there just singing, "Hey, hey, good looking, what you got cooking?" Or she'd be singing Amazing Grace and holding them hands up high. I have a lot of fond memories of her. And the reason there's no measurements is because every time I would ask her, "How do you do that?" "Oh, you just put a pinch of this and a smidgen of this." There were no measurements. It was all to taste.
Fake it till you make it.
That's right, fake it till you make it. But it was always good, and it was always, feels like home
Yeah.
when you cook stuff like that.
Yeah. We also cooked fried chicken, which I have never fried anything by myself. And we made butter beans and creamed corn. I had no idea that corn had onions and sugar and all these other things in it, so that was interesting. Like I said, growing up, I just ate it. I didn't question what was in it. But it was kind of cool, like, learning how to do it. And the key ingredient to almost everything we cooked today was a cast iron skillet. So I'm glad that I have some of those now, and I know how to season them and use them, because it definitely came in handy. That's literally almost all that we used to cook. So yeah, where did the chicken recipe come from?
That was my mama's version of Southern fried chicken.
Okay.
She cooked a lot of chicken when I was growing up. My favorite of hers, and most people would have her anytime we went to a cookout, "Janice, we want you to make that fried chicken." And she said that her secret ingredient was garlic
You
salt.
can't tell the world that.
Well, sorry.
Jeez, Mom, the neighbors are gonna hear.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
but I try to keep it as close to her recipe as possible. Anything you learn about fried chicken today?
Yeah, you taught me a good trick. You taught me that if you flake some flour in the grease, you can know when the grease is ready.
That's right.
I had no idea. But that's pretty cool. And we also made butter beans, and I think that you said growing up they would come fresh from the garden, and
Oh
that
my
you would help
goodness.
with them somehow.
Yeah. When I would go spend a week at a time with my granny, and my grandfather, he'd be out there picking the garden. Well, he'd bring it in wash tubs,
Yeah.
and she'd sit me down on the floor. My granny was a soap opera fan. She loved her soap opera.
That's where you get it from, right?
Yep. She'd sit me down in the floor with my wash tub of beans or peas. And she had hers, and if my cousins were there, they had theirs too. But we'd have one full of beans and one empty one. And we'd sit there and we'd shell peas and beans until our fingers hurt for days, until they were all blanched and put up in freezer bags and ready to go.
So, where did the cream corn recipe come from?
That was Granny Whirley's recipe. They had a huge garden, a huge garden. And Nana and I would take our vacation once a year come harvest time, and we'd go help them harvest their garden. Well, we would sit outside. I don't know if you remember your Granny Whirly's house or not, but
She's the one with the sewing room, right?
yep, she had the quilting
whole,
room.
Yeah, the whole sewing room.
Yep, which is another lost trait these days. Nobody does that anymore, but she loved to quilt. And she had a whole house for quilting. There's shade tree in between the quilting room and the big house. We would all sit underneath that shade tree, and they had a pea sheller, so one of us would be shelling peas. Some of us would be blanching the vegetables. We had, again, wash tubs.
Yeah.
Everybody used wash tubs. We'd fill them full and we'd blanch the vegetables, and your granddaddy, your great granddaddy, would be out there playing his guitar. He'd be playing gospel music while we were out there doing the vegetables, and we'd blanch them. We make homemade soups.
Oh, wow.
But she always made, the corn was different than what we made today, because we got ours out of the can.
Yeah, we
Now,
cheated a little bit.
Granny Whirly, when she made cream corn, she scraped it off the cob, fresh out of the garden, and there's nothing better.
Wow.
Nothing better.
One day we'll have to try it like that.
We will.
I'll have to go. Well, you're growing corn.
I'm growing
you're growing
corn.
We can make it whatever your corn grows up.
That's right. I am, past couple years, I've been trying to get me a garden growing, and I'm hoping to pass that down to you one day where you can grow your own garden, because there's nothing better than fresh vegetables.
Well, I got my tomato plant over here, so let's start there. Maybe it'll start producing something.
It will.
Yeah, and then we made, my favorite thing that we made today was definitely a peach cobbler, which, I don't know, it was good. I know that I had it growing up. I can't remember a specific time, but I'm sure that you had made peach cobbler when I was little. And I never knew how to make a cobbler until today. I like to bake and make cookies and all types of stuff, but never made a cobbler. So where did that recipe come from?
That came from your Nana.
Okay.
I would always ask her how to, for her recipes.
Yeah.
Anything that she made was good. But I didn't know how to make peach cobbler, and she's like, Wendy, it's the easiest thing in the world. Girl, all you gotta do is remember two.
Yeah, we put 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, and 2 sticks of butter.
Yep.
Yeah, and then some vanilla and cinnamon and stuff. But
Just have a little.
yeah, easy. 2. I think growing up, you and Daddy thought that I was a lost hope because I didn't want to help cook. But here I am. I know how to cook a little bit now. It came back eventually. And I don't know, I still remember even before I got like, I don't want to help, me and you would make meatloaf. I would sit on the counter and help you make meatloaf, or would help you make mashed potatoes. I remember like pouring milk in. I don't know why I remember these random things, but
I remember that.
I would help sometimes. I learned some stuff from you.
And you were really good at baking.
Yeah.
Very good. I remember you baking your cupcakes and your brownies for me to take to work. For the ladies
I was
that
trying to
were-
be an entrepreneur.
And you were.
I had to make some money.
And you did. Them ladies loved them muffins and
Yeah.
brownies. They looked forward to them all the time. I have a recipe. I don't know if I put it in the cookbook or not. I found a recipe that you made
Yeah.
up
Wow.
for some kind of pumpkin spice bread or something. You made it up in your handwriting. You were only 6 years old.
Yeah.
Recipe was pretty good.
I feel like most of our memories were centered around food. That sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. And we would have cookouts, and every time we would go to someone's house, it was always about food.
Yep.
All these handed down recipes, old recipes. I think both sides, your side and my dad's side, and then their grandparents' sides, like it was always about like who can cook correctly and cook good meals. Like it was never the easy way out, or
Never the easy. You don't take the easy way out. When you cook, when you prepare a meal for your family and your loved
Yeah.
ones, you're pouring your heart and your soul in it.
yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yeah. Now I have most of these recipes. Hopefully you'll keep remembering some. Or give me some more.
Yeah.
This book isn't big enough yet.
Nope, we don't fill it up.
Peachy, 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 peachy.
I learned how to make hoe cake bread and tomato gravy from watching my grandmother.
Sorry. You started laughing. Okay.
All right,
Where do we have to start
take
from?
2.
Just start at the top. Just start with the introduction.
Okay. So the first thing we made today was hoe cake bread and tomato gravy. Why did you start laughing?
Okay.
No, if she gets it going, I am gonna start getting it going. I can't. I don't know what to do.
We gotta go serious. All right, go ahead. Take, I don't know how many.
Okay.
Half a cup of flour.